All right.
Welcome back.
To recap, Yuri and Natsuki were reading each other's poems, and Yuri has offended Natsuki by not liking her poem enough. By the way, we were only planning to do 7 episodes of this, and then Ross was like, no, keep playing. Something's gonna happen. And we were like, oh, all right. He was like, did you get to the part yet? And we were like, we don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, then keep playing.
I know what he's talking about.
Do you really? I don't fucking know. God damn it.
That's why I wanted you to play this game.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, all right. So be it. Let's keep rolling.
If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Yuri liked it. And friend Aaron did, too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all...
Excuse me. I appreciate... I farted so much that I floated away slightly. I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless, of course, I can come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet.
Especially not yours.
Oh, damn.
N!
And friend Aaron liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Did he tell you he was impressed by yours?
Natsuki suddenly stands up.
Has she been sitting this whole time? Is that why she's so short?
Yeah. Ow! I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri.
Eh? Now I am face sweating a single tear. Now, that's not what I... You're just...
Yuri stands up as well.
She's tall as fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just jealous that friend Aaron appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours.
Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself?
My God, the literature club is falling apart at the seams. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy.
Ooh! Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? Bye! I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as friend Aaron started showing up.
What? Natsuki?
Natsuki, that's a little...
That doesn't involve you!
This doesn't involve you, robot.
I don't like fighting guys! Well, you're gonna get it!
Suddenly both
Fighting guys are hot!
Suddenly both girls turn towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there.
Friend Aaron. She's just trying to make me look bad.
That's not true. I don't need any help for that. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point in making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out to the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Cheaters can run! Help me explain that to her friend Aaron.
Did I say cheaters?
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to say cheetahs for now. A lot of damn cheaters out here today. There's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meanings the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, friend Aaron?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I do
boy.
have to choose.
Well...
How did I get dragged into this in the first place? The cupcakes. It's not like I know anything about writing,
Damn
but
it.
whoever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Who should I say?
Oh, that's your call, buddy.
Man.
I know. Pick your favorite.
I like Yuri. Just because she's I don't know, there's something about her demeanor that's
Cool.
very attractive.
Do it.
Natsuki.
I hope you're sitting down. I can't tell. You always look the same.
You're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. You wouldn't even take a poem seriously. These potatoes sure are good.
Sorry, I've been eating potatoes this entire time.
Filling up on potatoes.
They're not even French fries or baked or chips or anything. I'm just raw potatoes and I'm eating them one after the other.
Unpeeled. Like his backpack falls over and just potatoes. Oh no! Looks like I've dropped my potatoes on the floor.
Yeah, looks like I can't continue this conversation until this potato situation is resolved.
How embarrassing. I understand. Yuri. You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed.
Well, that's
That's really laying it on thick for
Yeah.
one and not the other.
But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. That's why Natsuki felt threatened when you said her poem was cute.
I see.
I didn't... Oh.
I didn't notice that. I'm sorry.
But Natsuki...
Bye.
You took it way too far! Yuri means well! And if you just told her how you felt, then this would have happened in the first place! You're standing between me and eating more potatoes! Are you kidding? That's exactly what I did! It was her that...
Natsuki, I think that's enough.
Time to let friend Aaron enjoy his potatoes in peace.
You both said some things that you did not mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too?
N.
For no.
Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. I end up even feeling bad for her.
Don't. She's a bitch. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head.
Sayori, she doesn't need to.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'll spare me from having to look at your faces right now. Fucking idiots. And I'm taking a potato.
No.
Without warning, Natsuki, I perfectly rationed out my potatoes.
So I could continuously eat them in a non-stop manner until I get home, whereupon I'll find my emergency stash of home potatoes.
Without warning, Natsuki snatches her own poem from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash.
No, my trash potatoes.
You covered them in ink and paper.
Natsuki.
She really didn't need to do that.
I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit in an adjacent chair.
Sigh.
Everything all right, milady?
That was a very potato-heavy burp. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now.
No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could.
I love you.
I don't think any less of you.
Well, all right, I believe you. But only because you're so filled with starch. Thanks, friend Aaron. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you a part of this club now.
It's nothing.
You'll make a great replacement for Natsuki, who is gone for good. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So...
what thing did Natsuki say?
Line. Well, never mind that. I'm going to go make some tea.
Yeah, good idea, I guess. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Like you fucking didn't do last time.
All right, beam me up. Yeah.
Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems?
Those of you that are not heartbroken and crying at home right now.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, I'd say it was worth it.
It was alright. Well, mostly.
Friend Aaron, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone.
Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And maybe you learned something from your friends too. So your poems will turn battery low. Battery low. Out even better.
I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Everyone looks at me weird. Ah!
Ready to look up?
Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either.
Wait, does that mean you are enjoying it?
Sayori, about what happened earlier.
Is it a double or triple negative?
You know, between Yuri and Natsuki, does that kind of thing happen often?
I can't want to not know if you don't like me. Not? No. That's a triple negative. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. God, you get one hot slice of dick between two girls and they can't help themselves.
Man, you really bring out the worst in them, huh?
I promise they're both wonderful people. When they're not being enticed by your huge throbbing cock, you don't hate them, do you?
No, I don't hate them. I just dislike them a lot. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you, because they're always fighting and they're annoying.
Phew! That was close. You know, friend Aaron, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest, except for the people you don't get along with. Right? Which is literally a 33rd, like 33% of the other girls. And I think everyone really likes you too.
That's line.
Squiggly line. Every day is going to be so much fun, squiggly line.
Sigh. It looks like Sayori still hasn't caught on to the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Well, I'll just have to see what the future holds, sir. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. Her arm falls off. I go, whoa! She screams. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do this.
Hell yeah, let's do this.
Fucking sweet penis.
Oh boy.
Secretive.
Wow, you can just
charm,
straight up skip this?
Lipstick. Universe. Games. Landscape. Depression. Depression was her?
Milk. Depression was who?
It was Sayori.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ambient. Frightening. Climax. Papa. Holiday. Clouds. After image. Massacre.
Sticky.
Unstable. Misery.
Wait, can I pick some?
Yeah.
Childhood. Rainbow. Cute.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, cute and graveyard were the choices.
Another day passes and it's time for the club meeting already. I've gotten a little more comfortable here over the past couple days. Entering the club room, the usual scene greets me.
And we'll see it next time on GameGrumps.
boy.
Oh boy indeed, my friend.
oh boy.
Oh jeez, golly. Golly gosh.
Golly gosh, golly gosh.